What is up, everybody? It's your boy Kellen. Once again, Happy New Year's. If you haven't seen my New Year's new platform, new idea video, Happy New Year's. I hope that everybody's coming into the new year with good intentions, good mindset, good attitude, good emotions, and that your New Year's is getting off the right start. With that being said, today's video, we are going to be doing our first recruitment season video of the year. Well, it's going to be the first recording. This is meant to be the first recruitment series video of the year, recording-wise. Recording-wise, this is the one I am making for the beginning of the year. But more than likely, there's probably already been one or two already released due to them already been made from last year and already being scheduled. But anyway, if you've seen my original New Year's video, or if you have it, y'all would know that we're going to be doing recruitment season a little bit differently. Not really, but the concept, like I said, recruitment season videos were initially intended to, put together characters that I really enjoy or I really want to learn more about, really want to see more often, and bring them more to the spotlight. But I want to dive deeper into that. I want to bring more characters who I enjoy to the spotlight, who I feel don't get enough recognition, who I feel are underutilized, right? But not only that, I want to start using characters strategically, right? Putting characters where they strategically belong, if like going through their history, if they want to be a hero, if they don't want to be a hero. Are they unstable or are they not unstable? Do they still need training or not? Are they better off just being individual or are they better off being teams? Stuff like that. I want to really dive into these characters. So with that being said, I've been looking into more comics, reading more comics, and I've been doing more research on all these characters. And another thing I want to do, I want to start expanding my horizons to different universes, different franchises, and just use these characters in a more broad spectrum. Because let's be real, a lot of my recruitment season videos that I did last year, while they were good, there are some characters who now I'm looking at it and I'm trying to put together teams. It's like, damn it, I could have used that person here. They would have been better here, or they would have been better there. But they already used, and I'm not going to redo a whole nother video and take that video down because that would be one, a waste of time. Two, it would be even more work because I would have to fill in that spot and everything. I'm not doing all that. A lot of my videos last year, they were a lot of Marvel-based videos because y'all know I love Marvel, but I also love other franchises. This isn't just a comic book page. This is a fictional book, a fictional world channel as well. That means it doesn't always have to be comic based. It could be storytelling based or whatever. But I also did a lot of hero based. And that's a problem for me because, again, a lot of villains have great concepts, great stories. And I love villains. But a lot of villains are always slept on. If the studios, if the writing companies and everything would get their head out of their asses and stop being so close-minded, a lot of villains could be brought to the spotlight and given more depth, whether it be individually or as a team. So we're going to be doing that as well. So with that being said, today we are going to be focused on a villain team. We are going to be doing the Dark Avengers. Man, if y'all never read Dark Avengers by Brian Michael Bendis, oh my God, that was such a good book, y'all. Such a good book. Y'all should really check it out. I've come to realize that while I haven't read all of Michael Bendis' stuff, there are a lot of things that I have read. Brian Michael Bendis might be one of my favorite authors when it comes to comics. At least when it comes to like the street level stuff. He really knows how to dive into character mindsets, dive into character personalities, and work with the street level heroes and the villains. I really love a lot of his stuff. And with that being said, his Dark Avengers series, bro, Dark Avengers was so good. Okay. So Dark Avengers happened in the Dark Reign era of Marvel. For all of those who don't know, after Captain America Civil War, not the movie, but after the Civil War comic, right? The Avengers split up, registrations in, there's no more Avengers, right? There's the new Avengers and the Secret Avengers. They split up. Secret Invasion happens. Somehow, some way, Norman Osborn made his way up there, be as slick as ever, took the shot, boom, to take out Queen. And they decided to make him the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., which became Hammer. Now, I think when it comes to Norman Osborn, he's a great villain, great Spider-Man villain. But I think a lot of people fail to touch on his time as, just Norman Osborn villain. Everybody mentions him as Green Goblin, which is fine. I get it. He's a good Green Goblin. But me, I feel like him being a political mastermind out to shut down the heroes, like Kingpin. He was another version of Kingpin, just differently. Kingpin, yeah, his hands here, 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 here. Norman Osborn was more compacted. And I feel like that was such a great role. I think, honestly, Norman Osborn as just political takeover Norman Osborn is better to me than him being Green Goblin. But with that being said, when he was head of Hammer, the Thunderbolts that was under his command in Secret Invasion, he was like, okay, so how are we going to do this? He basically had the Thunderbolt plan when all the Avengers were there. Instead, he was like, all right, so the way we're going to put the world back together is under my control. Duh. We'll put the world back together. But now, these heroes are the reasons blah, blah, blah happened. Tony Stark and the heroes, they've been fighting. The Secret Invasion, the Skrulls were able to sneak under our noses. Then we had the Hulk incident, World War Hulk, and all this other stuff. So he was like, unless I make my own team of Avengers who are under my control and we hunt down the rest of the heroes, put them on like legislation, they're done. So he took a certain amount of villains and the Thunderbolts he was working with and dressed them up as the Avengers. It wasn't even like he made them new heroes like Baron Zemo did with the first iteration of Thunderbolts. No. He dressed them up as some of the Avengers that were already known. And yeah, it was just amazing. Yeah, y'all should really read it. I heard there was more Dark Avenger series, but the main one I know of, the one I was talking about, it's like what, maybe 4 volumes. He had characters up there like Dakin or Darkin, however you pronounce the name, the son of Wolverine. He dressed him up as Wolverine. He had the Sentry. He manipulated the Sentry because he knew Sentry, with his agoraphobia and his anxiety and everything. He was like, I can help you. I know what it's like to have to fight another side of you, blah, blah. And Sentry ended up being there. He had Thor basically not being impersonated, but be replaced by Ares. He had Moonstone dressed up like Miss Marvel. Bullseye, yes, Bullseye, the crazy daredevil villain who never misses. That psychopath. He dressed him up as Hawkeye. He had Matt Gargan. This is around the time Matt Gargan had the symbiote. He basically gave him a serum that helped the symbiote be more controlled and look more like Black Suit Spider-Man more than Venom. He had this dude named Marvel Boy who eventually left. It was just amazing. It was amazing. So like I said, today we are going to be doing my Dark Avengers team. Now, the way we're going to do it is, like always, we might have some characters who were originally on the team, might have characters who originally weren't. But last year, I made different teams of Avengers. I made an MCU Sam Wilson Avengers team. I made a Secret Avengers team. I made a Kid Avengers team, blah, 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 right? Instead of making a team of heroes who were the Avengers and connected them like one team to connect to this particular villain team, we're going to look at the heroes I've chosen throughout my different series of Avengers team, and we're going to make a personator for each member of the hero team I've chosen. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Okay, let me explain it a little bit better. So look at all my Avengers team, right? There's not one Avengers team I made where I think I have a team where I could definitely choose an impersonator for every member, right? So we're going to choose members from out the different teams I've made. We might choose some members from the Secret Avengers team. We're going to choose some members from the MCU Avengers team, etc., etc. And then for each member we choose, the Dark Avengers team is going to compose of members who can impersonate the members I've chosen. If that makes sense, right? So with that being said, y'all know what we got to do. We're going to get right into the rules. Rule number one, like always, 5 to 7 members. Now, another thing I might have established within the New Year's video when I was talking about how we're going to start changing stuff up, 5 to 7 members technically means you can have 6. Honestly, I don't like that. 6 seems off, seems weird. It just doesn't seem right. Look like if you picture it in your head, a 6-man team don't look right. No. It's either gonna be 5 members or 7. And of course, if we do a support staff means, you have your trainers, your liaisons, your advisors, your psychologists, your medical people, your tech people, your coordinators. 2 to 3 members. 2 to 3 members. That one doesn't seem as weird, so it's gonna be 2 or 3 members. And I'm telling y'all right now, for this team, we're only going to do 5 members. I couldn't think of any more, so I'm not going to work my brain, and I couldn't think of any plausible liaisons or support staff that I'm not using for any other team. So, like I said, we're just going to do 5 members for this team, and that's it. Like always, whatever member we choose, we cannot use again for any other team. They can only be used for the team we're putting them on, and that's it. Is there any other rule? Nope, that's it. So with that being said, let's get into recruiting our Dark Avengers. Who will be the members we choose to fool the public, to impersonate and counter the regular Avengers? Now, like I said, when I do these recruitment season videos, sometimes I use the people who was originally on the team and I mix them in with my new character choices. So, before we get started with my new character choices, let me go over the characters that have already been on the team like I already did and tell you which ones I will not be using. The first one I will not be using, even though this is Norman Osborn's team and his idea, I will not be using Norman Osborn. Why? Because, like I said, I think his political involvement as a villain is great, and I think I have a very different place for him to fit on that would be perfect for him. 2, I will not be using his liaison, Victoria Hand, because even after the Dark Avengers were disbanded and Dark Reign ended and we got into the heroic age, we saw Victoria still being sneaky and political and stuff. So I'm gonna use her somewhere else as well. We gotta use Dawkins, Dakin, or whatever you call him in X-Men recruitment season video. Again, Matt Gargan was known as Venom here, and I prefer him as Scorpion, so I'll be using the Scorpion version somewhere else. We'll not be using Marvel Boy. We will not be using Sentry, and we will not be using Ares, which means Moonstone is completely open for use, and so is Bullseye. So we will be using those. So let's get those first 2 characters out of the way. Moonstone. I like Moonstone. I like her so much. She was one of my favorite parts. If you read the story, she was always manipulating people, getting to their heads, sleeping with them, causing trouble, just being a nuisance, right? And that's really what her character is. Her character is known for, she's a psychologist, but she likes to manipulate people. She likes to manipulate people and do what's best for her own benefit. Not like I'm gonna take over the world and this is the best thing for me. She just like doing things that, won't put her in so much stress or trouble or that aligns her desire for this being content. So we're gonna call her Moonstone around the Dark Avengers, but of course she will be impersonating Miss Marvel. Now, I do not have Miss Marvel picked up on any of my Avengers team yet, but I do plan on making other Avengers team where I am going to use Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers, so we're going to use her. Now, for Bullseye. I love Bullseye. If you don't like Bullseye, you're crazy. Bullseye just psychotic and sociopathic, loves to mess around people, loves just being a killer. He's going to replace Hawkeye like always. He's going to replace Hawkeye. Yeah, because I got Hawkeye. I got 2 Hawkeyes, actually. I got Kate Bishop Hawkeye on my Young Avengers team, and I got Clint Barton as Ronan or Agent Barton on my Secret Avengers team. So we're going to use Bullseye to impersonate Clint or Kate, one or the other. It's probably better to impersonate Clint because he's a boy and he's more experienced, more trained than Kate. Plus, if you were to ask me, in the original Brian Michael Bendis Dark Avengers run, I would say that Moonstone and Bullseye, they were the heart of the series. You of course you had Victoria, who was logistic and the planning and charisma of Norman Osborn, but between Moonstone and Bullseye, always causing trouble, their attitude, their wittiness, their humor and stuff, and how they operated, they were the heart of the team. So I feel like keeping those two, especially Bullseye and Moonstone, is essential. So yeah, Bullseye and Moonstone. So now that we got the first two members who were originally on the Dark Avengers team out the way, we can focus on my original candidates for the team. And for my third member slash first original candidate, hear me out. I'm going to choose Dr. Octopus, Otto Octavius. Yep, that's right. I'm going to put good old Otto Octavius up there. And I know, some of the true diehard Spider-Man Mythos fans is going to be like, what? That's weird. Why not put him on Intelligentsia? Or why not put him mainly with the Sinister Six? He's a Spider-Man villain, blah, blah, blah. And there's a few reasons why I won't do that. One, because I think one of the best art that Otto Octavius has ever had was when he was Superior Spider-Man. And since Spider-Man was on an Avengers team, I'm gonna have Otto impersonate Spider-Man. I think that was one of his best arts. He fooled everybody. He was trying to change, but still had a dark type of agenda, sort of. So I feel like it works. But another reason I'm not putting him on the Sinister Six is one, I have plans to make a Sinister Six. And while I'm going to get into details of it, when y'all see my Sinister Six and what I'm going for, y'all realize why I didn't put him up there. Two, him being on the Sinister Six, it's cool and everything, but he's mainly a planner for the Sinister Six. I think about it. He's effective as an attacker and a villain and everything, but with the people he works with on the Sinister Six, a lot of them are either incompetent, don't work, or they're just yeah. So I feel like that doesn't work for him. But he is good at planning and he is good at building teams, at least the concept of one. But for me, I always felt like Otto. See, okay, so here's the thing about it. Otto has always had three consistent parts to his archetype, three consistent points to his character. One, he's always been a Spider-Man villain, sure. But the second one is he's always been trying to prove how he's one of the greatest minds ever. He's always trying to prove himself. But another core element of Otto, he is always going up against Norman Osborn. And when I see him going against him, he always has some type of vendetta, is out for revenge. So instead of Otto being a Spider-Man villain, I always thought he was more of an Osborn villain. And I feel like this will be the perfect opportunity for him because, while Osborn is so-called a genius and everything and has political takeover, I feel like Otto will try to do it better. Like, okay, so this is where your Dark Avengers team failed and where this is where mine is going to succeed. You had these plans, but my brain is more superior to yours. So I'm going to have these plans, and through these plans, I can be more of a political takeover than you, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, he's going to be using his superior Spider-Man to fool everybody. Now, the thing about that is, between everybody I have already put on my team and the other two people I'm going to put on my team, Otto is undoubtedly the most intelligent person on the team. But I feel like while he's arrogant, I don't think he's foolish enough to the point where he says Spider-Man could be the leader of the Avengers. I mean, conceptually, I guess Spider-Man could, but he knows within canon, within the Marvel Universe, as, the universe, he probably knows that, well, with Spider-Man being a menace or being seen as a menace or persona non grata due to the cops and J. Jonah Jameson and all that, he's not loved enough to be the face of the Avengers, to be the leader of the Avengers publicly. So while he's going to be the de facto leader, it's going to be like a Captain America Iron Man thing where, we have one leading on the field, one leading behind the scenes and the general, planning everything. Dr. Octopus is going to be the planner and the de facto leader, but the field command is either going to be Moonstone or one of the other people I'm about to put it there. And that other person being Eric Killmonger. Because he is technically the evil Black Panther, Black Panther is the smartest person in Wakanda. The best fighter in Wakanda. Shoot, one of the best fighters in the Marvel Universe. Good at tactics, good at leadership, and all of that. And, with Killmonger, he got an education from MIT. He trained his body for war and weapons and physical combat prowess and everything. Like, with him trying to take over Wakanda and try to export vibranium to the world, I feel like it could help. It could help, fund the Dark Avengers. It could help, he can definitely bargain with politics and everything and have a major influence within the political world and the economy world as well when it comes to vibranium. And the technology, that would be great for, Otto Octavius to be involved in it as well. So the fourth person we're going to put up there is going to be Killmonger as the Dark Avenger Black Panther. So with that being said, right now we have our four members. We have Bullseye as Hawkeye. We have Moonstone as Miss Marvel. We have Otto Octavius as Superior Spider-Man, or just Spider-Man, because nobody will call him Superior Spider-Man. And we have Eric Killmonger as Black Panther, which leaves the final member, and I am going to choose Darren Brand, aka Yellow Jacket, to impersonate Ant-Man. Now, the Ant-Man I have for my team that I created was Scott Lang for my MCU, Sam Wilson, New Avengers. And I feel like that worked because that was the first villain we saw Ant-Man fight off in his first appearance in the MCU. But also because, in the comics, Yellow Jacket was originally Hank Pym. He was trying to find a new identity and gain security and confidence. And he made a persona, faked his death, and became more vicious or whatever. And that was the new Yellow Jacket. And Yellow Jacket, that version, he just had like he had like things that insinuated wings. He flew, shrunk, grew, had discs and everything. But in the MCU, Yellow Jacket is Darren Brand, which is again I think he was like the CEO or the owner or something of some type, what was it, Pym Industries or whatever. And that works because it's still some type of correlation and connection. So that's that. And I feel like with Darren, first of all, I love that Yellow Jacket suit. I liked it way better than the original Yellow Jacket suit from the comics. That Yellow Jacket suit, I feel like it's much better. I love mech suits. I love armors and all of that. And plus, we could do the impersonation thing. We could do spy thing because of the size. With him being the owner or the CEO of a company, we have access to funds and money, which could be used to fund the Dark Avengers, or it could be used as a scientific political integration scheme. And plus, seeing that Pym Industries is a scientific slash tech company that's more access to resources and more ways you can corrupt and infiltrate the government and the world and society. So, yeah, I feel like Darren Brand as Yellow Jacket impersonating Ant-Man will be good. And I know with characters like Killmonger and Yellow Jacket, y'all might be thinking, well, wait a minute. Killmonger in the comics doesn't have a suit. And the suit he has in Black Panther is a Jaguar and golden. And isn't Yellow Jacket suit yellow and black and have wings and like little antenna things? Look, that is so easy to fix. First of all, for Killmonger, we can just say Black Panther has a new look. That's it. Black Panther has a new look. He's trying something different. It's a new type of suit. Superheroes, supervillains, they get new looks all the time. No one thinks about it. They just be like, ooh, nice look, cool. That's that. And for Yellow Jacket, you can easily fix that. Just paint it black and red. It's already part black. Paint the yellow parts red. Or again, you could say Ant-Man got a new look. Ant-Man's trying something different. He's trying a new name, something. And you can also say Hey, take off the little antenna things or wings or whatever they were, and boom, right there, you got a new upgraded tech-based armor mech Ant-Man suit. Boom. So yeah, guys, those are my Dark Avengers. So to go over it, to clear it up, we have Hawkeye being impersonated by Bullseye. We have Miss Marvel, the Captain Marvel version, being impersonated by Moonstone. We have Spider-Man being impersonated by Dr. Octavius. We have Black Panther being impersonated by Killmonger. And we have Ant-Man being impersonated by Devin Brand, aka Yellow Jacket. Again, seems that he's the smartest and the tech and scientist person. Dr. Octopus will be the brains behind operations and the science person. Um, I would say the psychologist and psych and shrink of the group will be Moonstone, but like I said, she likes to manipulate and everything. She causes trouble. The wild card and the enforcer, of course, will be Bullseye. Um, Military planning, tactics planning, field leader. We can make it Eric Killmonger, and then for the funding, we have Darren Brand, who will also be our spy specialist. So yeah, guys, those are my Dark Avengers. Let me know who you would choose for the Dark Avengers. If I wanted to do 7 members, what other 2 members should I have added? Who should I have added for support staff? What do you think about the Brian Michael Bendis Dark Avengers? Have you read it? If not, I really recommend that you do. It's awesome. And like I said, have y'all read the other Dark Avengers books? Because I haven't. If you have, let me know how they are in the comments. So if I should check them out or not. And did you think that we was gonna get Dark Avengers in the MCU? I did. If you watched my Thunderbolts video, you would know why. Because the Thunderbolts become Dark Avengers. But again, in the MCU, we have no villains. So I don't know how that really works. But anyway, it goes. You guys know what it is. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Deuces.